Today, folks, we are going to be taking a look at long division. So our objective for today is to use long division to divide polynomials. Now, up to this point, we have added, subtracted, multiplied, and now it's time to divide. And when you're all done today, you're going to be able to divide a problem that looks like the one showing here. Okay, now our wick or know and do is right there as well. So we're going to spend some time reviewing long division. The long division that you did back when you were in elementary school. So our essential question for today is, what is long division? And we're going to learn how we can apply what we did in elementary school to polynomials that you're learning in Algebra 2. All right, let's go begin this section. Let's begin today by reviewing what you did in elementary school in order to divide integers. Now, let's review here. This part here was called the divisor. This is called the dividend. Up here you had your quotient, and if you had a remainder, it would be plus the remainder over here. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and review, and then we're going to compare what we did in elementary school to how we're going to handle polynomials today. All right, so to begin with here, let's begin taking a look at and ask ourselves, how many times will 12 go into 27? Well, it goes in there twice, so I'm going to put the 2 right there. Then you went 2 times 12 gave you a 24, and then what you did is you changed the sign and added, or in a sense what your teacher in elementary school, they said you just subtract. In algebra, we are going to change the sign and add. Okay, so what do we do next? Well, at this point, after you change the sign and add, 27 plus negative 24, you're going to get a 3. You're going to bring down this 7. After bringing down the 27, then you ask yourself, how many times will 12 go into 36? Or you could say 12 times what is 36? What's the closest? Well, it's going to be 3. So we're going to put 3 right there. 3 times 12 is 36, leaving us with 1. And then you're going to take that, and if you wrote it as a fraction, it would be 1 over 12. Now, just for the sake of asking here, what operation is right there? Well, normally we don't put an operation right there when you were in elementary school. You just call it 23 and 1/12. In a sense, there's an imaginary plus sign because you have 23 plus 1/12. Okay. All right, now let's compare how we did this, how we're going to do this in Algebra 2. Okay, now dividing polynomials is a method very similar to what we just reviewed for dividing integers. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at just how similar this will be. Okay, now we see both methods. Okay, so if we take a look here, you see your divisor, your dividend, your quotient, everything just like what we did before. Okay, no problem there. Okay, what about dividing polynomials? Well, here I have a binomial, and it's going to divide into a trinomial. You have x plus 2, and it's going to go into right here, this trinomial, which is our dividend. So we ask ourselves, what times x will give us 2x squared? Well, x times what gives us 2x squared? Well, 2x. So I'm going to put that 2x right there. Then you're going to take 2x, and you're going to multiply it times this x, and you're going to put that right here. Then you're going to take that 2x times 2 right there, and you're going to put that right there. Now, at this point, we're going to change the signs and add. Now, when I change the signs and add, we're going to change that to a negative, change that to a negative right there, and when we add down, 2x squared minus 2x squared gives us 0, so it's gone. You have 7x minus 4x gives us 3x, and then I carry down this 7. Okay, then we ask ourselves, what times x would give me 3x? Well, of course, it's going to be 3. So now we're just going to take this 3 and you're going to multiply it times this binomial right here. So 3 times x gives me 3x, and 3 times 2 gives me 6. Now at this point, we're going to change the signs and add, and when we do so, we're left with a remainder of 1. Okay, so how are we going to write that? Well, we're going to write it as 2x plus a 3, and then I'm going to put that plus sign, plus, and we're going to put the remainder over top the divisor. So x plus a 2. And that is how we divide polynomials. All right, let's go try one more. Okay, here's our next problem. Now, before we can go ahead and just do this one, I need to do a little preparation with this piece right here. Look at this trinomial. Is it in descending order or standard form? The answer is no. Okay, so look at it. Well, that's to the second power, that's to the third power, that's to the 0 power. Okay, so I need to put this one first, this one second, this one third. But we're missing something. Notice how this goes 2y cubed, and this goes minus y squared. When we are using long division, I need to step down so I go 3, 2, and I don't want to jump clear to 0. I have to have a y to the first in there someplace. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to rearrange this, and then I'm going to put a placeholder, so I'm going to plug in a plus 0y. Okay, so let me show you how that's going to work. So if we take this here, let's move it out of the way. So we have 2y to the third, that's what's going to be first, then minus y squared, that's going to be second. Now we don't have a y to the first, so that's where I'm going to put my placeholder. So plus 0y, then I'm going to put that plus 25. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. Now that's going to be my dividend. Now what about my divisor? Well, look at my divisor. Is it in standard form? Yep, it is. I see just y minus 3. It's 1 and then 0. So we're looking okay, because I have y to the first and then I have y to the 0 there, so it's in standard form. I'm not skipping over any power decreases here, so I'm doing okay. So let's go ahead and set it up. Now remember, this here is going to be my dividend. This is going to be my divisor. So that means I'm going to put my divisor out front, so it's going to look like this, and my dividend inside, so it's going to look like this. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, and let's see how we're going to divide that. In dividing this, what we're going to do first is you're going to ask yourself, now just concentrate on the y. I want to know what times y would give me 2y to the third power. Well, that's going to be 2y to the second. Now, if I take 2y to the second times y, that gives me 2y to the third. But remember, I have to multiply this, not by just the y. I have to multiply it by the whole binomial. So I'm going to multiply that 2y squared times the negative 3 as well. And that's going to give me minus 6y squared. Okay, now at this point I'm going to change the signs and add. So this goes to 0. By the way, folks, here's a note. So off in your Cornell notes, off to the side, I want you, off to the side over here, I want you to make a little note. And that note is going to say, this piece will always subtract out to 0. If it doesn't, you have the wrong thing up here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and finish subtracting here. So I have negative y squared plus 6y squared, and that's going to give me 5y squared. And I'm going to bring down the plus 0y. Now we're going to start all over. I'm going to ask, how many times will y go into 5y squared? Well, let's see. I think that looks like it's going to be plus 5y. So now we have to take this 5y right here and times it by this binomial. So 5y times y is going to give me 5y squared. And then I have 5y times a negative 3, and that's going to give me minus 15y. All right, again, we're going to change the signs and add. Now, does this subtract out like it's supposed to? Yes, it does. That means I came up with the right number up here. Okay, so now 0 plus 15y gives you 15y. Now I'm going to bring down this 25 right here. So let's bring it down. So plus 25. And then now we have to do it one more time. What times y would give me 15y? Well, plus 15. So we're going to put a plus 15 right there. Now we have to multiply this 15 times this binomial right here. So 15 times y is 15y. And 15 times negative 3 gives you negative 45. All right, now what do we do? Yes, you said it. Change the signs and add. This subtracts out like it always has to do. And this will give us, let's see, that's 10, carry the 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, gives us a remainder of 70. Now, I want you to notice something. I know I'm done when this down here is of a smaller degree than the divisor. Notice the degree of 70 is 0. The degree of this binomial here is 1. So because the degree of 70 is less than the degree of the divisor, that means this is my remainder. So I'm going to take that and we're going to go plus 70 and write it over top the divisor, y minus 3. And that's all there is to division. Okay, folks, so our final answer is we are going to write it like this. So that means this divisor here, this binomial, divides into this trinomial with a quotient and a remainder of that. All right, folks, well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Our assignment for next class period is going to be right there. Okay, well, that's a wrap. I'll see you in class.